Hare Krishna. We'll start. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudirayate Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttamastoke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistaki Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yatkripātamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Chaitanyamishwaram Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militamena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyate Deshatarini Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Tassat. Welcome you all for Bhagavatam study. So we'll read from Canto 1, Chapter 9, Text 26 today. Who is going to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, 26 was allocated to Asha Mataji.
Mataji. Mataji. Yeah, Jay. Okay.
Varsha Mataji. Varsha Mataji.
Varsha Mataji, yeah. Varsha Mataji not joined. Okay, so anyone else can read?
I'll read Prabhuji.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Canto 1, Chapter 9, Text 26. Purusha swabhava vihitan yatavarnam yutashramam vairagya rago padibhyam amnato bhaya lakshanan. Translation. At Maharaja Yudhishthira's inquiry, Bhishmadeva first defined all the classifications of caste and orders of life in terms of the individual's qualifications. Then he systematically, in twofold divisions, described counteraction by detachment and interaction by attachment. Purport. The conception of 4 castes and 4 orders of life as planned by the Lord himself, Bhagavad Gita 4.13, is to accelerate transcendental qualities of the individual person so that he may gradually realize his spiritual identity and thus act accordingly to get free from material bondage or conditional life. In almost all the Puranas, the subject matter is described in the same spirit, and so also in the Mahabharata, it is more elaborately described by Bhishmadeva in the Shanti Parva, beginning from the 60th chapter. The Varnashrama Dharma is prescribed for the civilized human being just to train him to successfully terminate human life. Self-realization is distinguished from the life of the lower animals engaged in eating, sleeping, fearing, and mating. Bhishmadeva advised for all human beings 9 qualifications. 1. Not to become angry. 2. Not to lie. 3. to equally distribute wealth. 4. To forgive. 5. To beget children only by one's legitimate wife. 6. To be pure in mind and hygienic in body. 7. Not to be inimical toward anyone. 8. To be simple. And 9. To support servants or subordinates. One cannot be called a civilized person without acquiring the above mentioned preliminary qualities. Besides these, the Brahmanas, the intelligent men, the administrative men, the mercantile community, and the labor class must acquire special qualities in terms of occupational duties mentioned in all the Vedic scriptures. For the intelligent men, controlling the senses is the most essential qualification. It is the basis of morality. Sex indulgence, even with a legitimate wife, must also be controlled, and thereby family control will automatically follow. An intelligent man abuses his great qualifications if he does not follow the Vedic way of life. This means he must seriously make a study of the Vedic literatures, especially of the Srimad Bhagavatam and the Bhagavad Gita. For learning Vedic knowledge, one must approach a person who is 100% engaged in devotional service. He must not do things which are forbidden in the Shastras. A person cannot be a teacher if he drinks or smokes. In the modern system of education, the teacher's academic qualification is taken into consideration without evaluation of his moral life. Therefore, the result of education is misuse of high intelligence in so many ways. The Kshatriya, the member of the administrative class, is especially advised to give charity and not to accept charity in any circumstances. Modern administrators raise subscriptions for some political functions but never give charity to the citizens in any state function. It is just the reverse in the injunctions of the Shastras. The administrative class must be well versed in the Shastras but must not take to the profession of teachers. The administrators should never pretend to become non-violent and thereby go to hell. When Arjuna wanted to become a non-violent coward on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, he was severely chastised by Lord Krishna. The Lord degraded Arjuna at that time to the status of an uncivilized man for his avowed acceptance of the cult of non-violence. The administrative class must be personally trained in military education. Cowards should not be elevated to the presidential throne by dint of numerical votes only. The monarchs were all chivalrous personalities, and therefore monarchy should be maintained provided the monarch is regularly trained in the occupational duties of a king. In fighting, the king or the president should never return home without being heard by the enemy. The so-called king of today never visits the war field. He is very much expert in artificially encouraging the fighting strength in the hope of false national prestige. As soon as the administrative class is turned into a gang of mercantile and laborer men, the whole machinery of government becomes polluted. The Vaishyas, the members of the mercantile communities, are especially advised to protect the cows. Cow protection means increasing the milk productions, namely curd and butter. Agriculture and distribution of the foodstuff are the primary duties of the mercantile community, backed by education in Vedic knowledge and trained to give in charity. As the Kshatriyas were given charge of the protection of the citizens, Vaishyas were given the charge of the protection of animals. Animals are never meant to be killed. Killing of animals is a symptom of barbarian society. For a human being, agricultural produce, fruits, and milk are sufficient and compatible foodstuffs. The human society should give more attention to animal protection. The productive energy of the laborer is misused when he is occupied by industrial enterprises. Industry of various types cannot produce the essential needs of man, namely rice, wheat, grains, milk, fruits, and vegetables. The production of machines and machine tools increases the artificial living fashion of a class of vested interest and keeps thousands of men in starvation and unrest. This should not be the standard of civilization. The Sudra class is less intelligent and should have no independence. They are meant for rendering sincere service to the three higher sections of the society. The Sudra class can attain all comforts of life simply by rendering service to the higher classes. It is especially enjoined that a Sudra should never bank money. As soon as the Sudras accumulate wealth, it will be misused for sinful activities in wine, women, and gambling. Wine, women, and gambling indicate that the population is degraded to less than Shudra quality. The higher caste should always look after the maintenance of the Sudras, and they should provide them with old and used garments. A Sudra should not leave his master when the master is old and invalid, and the master should keep the servants satisfied in all respects. The Sudras must first of all be satisfied by sumptuous food and clothing before any sacrifice is performed. In this age, so many functions are held by spending millions, but the poor laborer is not sumptuously fed or given charity, clothing, etc. The laborers are thus dissatisfied, and so they make agitation. The Varnas are, so to speak, classifications of different occupations, and ashrama dharma is gradual progress on the path of self-realization. Both are interrelated and one is dependent on the other. The main purpose of ashrama dharma is to awaken knowledge and detachment. The brahmacharya ashrama is the training ground for the prospective candidates. In this ashrama, it is instructed that this material world is not actually the home of the living being. The conditioned souls under material bondage are prisoners of matter, and therefore self realization is the ultimate aim of life. The whole system of ashrama dharma is a means to detachment. One who fails to assimilate this spirit of detachment is allowed to enter into family life with the same spirit of detachment. Therefore, one who attains detachment may at once adopt the fourth order, namely renounce, and thus live on charity only, not to accumulate wealth, but just to keep body and soul together for ultimate realization. Household life is for one who is attached, and the Vanaprastha and Sannyasa orders of life are for those who are detached from material life. The Brahmacharya ashrama is especially meant for training both the attached and detached. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, Vijishra Maharaj is asking questions now. Here we see how Bhishmadev is answering. Step by step, he gives the knowledge. Prabhupada very nicely, very elaborately explained his purport. Here is written Maharaj Yudhishthira's inquiry. Bhishmadev first defined all the classification of caste. The Prabhupada talk about the 4 classes of men, 4 varna and ashrama. So, quoting Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Chaturvarnya Maya Sista Guna Karma Bhagasha, Krishna himself declaring that these 4 varnas and ashrama I only created for varna, the basically Brahmana, Kshatriya, Shudra, and Vaishya. So I only created it, but based on a guna and karma, not based on the birth. That's the difference. So today it's so happy that this been taken into the birth. Those who are born in one particular varna, they claim that we are that. For example, those who born Brahmana, they claim that we are Brahmanas. Those who born in Kshatriya, they claim themselves to be Kshatriyas. Those who born in Vaishya, they claim themselves to be Vaishyas. And those who born in Shudras are never given a chance to grow anywhere else other than Shudras, just because they born there. But Lord is very clear. Lord is not saying that just because you take birth, you are not that community. You can be anywhere. So there are so many examples, from Bhagavatam. Prahlad Maharaj, he was son of a demon, Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha. But he became a great devotee. So it's not that just because he is become, son of a demon, he will become a demon. No. And the other example is Narakasura. Narakasura is a son of Supreme Lord himself, but he became a great devotee, a great demon, but just opposite. So birth is not the criteria to be Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Is guna and karma, is activities and his nature that makes a difference. That's why he has said that here. The individual's qualification. Then he systematically in twofold divisions described counteraction. So Varna and Ashrama, he explained. So what's the purpose of his Varna Ashrama? Prabhupada talks about conception of 4 castes and 4 orders life as planned by the Lord to accelerate transcendental qualities of individual person so that gradually realize the spiritual identity. So the purpose of this Varna and Ashrama is to gradually progress towards the spiritual advancement and become Krishna consciousness and finally attain Krishna's lotus feet. That is the purpose of this Varna and Ashrama. Not to separate, not to make divisions and make people fight each other. That is not the purpose of Varna and Ashrama. The caste system, which is today is practiced, which is dead against the principle of Bhagavad Gita or Lord Krishna wanted. Krishna never wanted the system of caste based on a birth, because human beings are different. So Atma, each Atma will have its own qualities. Just because the parents are one particular nature, children need not be of the same nature. But there is a better chance to become good because their association, because their circumstances, they can be big possible good devotees if the devotee children, and demon children can be demon. But there is exception also. Like I said, Prahlad Maharaj exception, born in a demonic family, become devotee. Narakasura, born for Supreme Lord, but he became a demon. So this is the extreme cases. But as a practicing devotees, we need to understand that the caste system is not what Lord wanted to practice, but is created by the human and so-called the highly educated leaders. They actually created this system so that they can divide people and they can rule. The whole problem is started from there. Because for the vote bank or whatever reasons, even today, people are misusing this. So the point Prabhupada is bringing that Bhishmadev brought up this topic and is explained to Yudhishthira Maharaj so nicely. Prabhupada says, Varnashram Dharma is prescribed for a civilized human being just to train him successfully terminate the human life. So human life has to be terminated. This is the last life. I don't want any more life in this material world. So that's the mood of others, the goal of a devotee. So Varna and Ashrama is a systematic education, systematic training, so that people take up Krishna consciousness and they practice and they attain the lotus feet of the Lord. So this Varna Ashram Dharma is not for making a division, not for making the people to fight each other. This is the best practice so that one can attain Krishna. Prabhupada talks about here, Bhishmadev advised for all human beings, the 9 qualifications. These are the 9 qualifications Bhishmadev told Yudhishthira Maharaj so that the whole world can understand. The first and foremost is not to become angry. Krodha, danger, anger. Anger is, more danger. So when we add D to the anger, it becomes danger. So not to become angry, because Kama, Krodha, Mada, Matsara. So Krodha is one of the envy or one of the enemy in our heart. So not to become angry, not to lie, because telling lie is become a common now. It said that cheating propensity. There are 4 disqualifications Srila Prabhupada talks about the human being. One is that being illusioned or imperfect senses, and cheating propensity. Cheating propensity is one of the disqualification of a human being. So we can see today also, for a simple reason, we want to cheat, we want to somehow tell lie and get. So that's why Prabhupada says here not to tell lie. Third says equally distribute wealth. This is the another point. Only when Krishna consciousness we can see this. Prabhupada implemented a very nice system. That real democracy or maybe the real communism Prabhupada has implemented. Our Devi Varnashrama Dharma is the real communism or real, the democracy. So just to see how ISKCON temple is managing, ISKCON devotees go beg from the rich people, collect that Lakshmi, use that Lakshmi to cook prasad and distribute to the poor. This is what happens in many of the ISKCON temples. Needies, those who cannot afford to have a good nutritious food, the poor schools, ISKCON is doing this. So that way, equal distribution of wealth is happening. And to forgive, the next quality Prabhupada talks about here, and to beget children only one's legitimate wife. So the 4 regulatory principles: no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, and the 4th one is no illicit sex, no sex outside the marriage, not to beget children, outside the marriage. So within the marriage only. Then talks about to be pure in mind and hygiene in body. So body and mind has to be pure. The body has to be hygiene and mind should be pure. Because mind is polluted mind can be contaminate anyone. My mind is that one can create havoc in my life. So mind has to be purified. How the mind can be purified? Cheto Darpana Marjanam, Krishna says that the heart and mind can be purified by chanting the holy name and by honoring Krishna Prasad. Prabhupada says that when you honor Krishna Prasad, your brain tissues will be purified. So that is the potency of Krishna Prasad. So just by having Krishna Prasad and chanting the holy name, we can purify our mind. And then Prabhupada says, not to be inimical towards anyone. Inimical, envious, jealous of others. That should be avoided because jealousy or envy is one of the greatest enemy. Envy, no vacancy. In the spiritual world, envy has no vacancy. Envy. So even the kind of enemies like kama, krodha, mada, lobha, etc. can be used, but not the matsara. Like anger can be used, like example given that Hanuman got angry to Ravana because Ravana kidnapped Mother Sita. So like that, the other can be used. I can be proud that I am servant of the Lord. That's a proud. That's a real ego. Otherwise pride is not allowed. This is how Prabhupada says not to be inimical to anyone. Anyone means not just a human being, not just any living entity, anyone for that matter. But the main reason we are here in the material world because we are envious of Krishna. Because we are envious of Krishna, we are here. And here also we are doing the same thing. We are not friendly with Krishna. We are envious because just by being envious to his devotees is equally means envious to Krishna, because I have so many desires. And finally, my thought process that why Krishna is enjoying so much, why I cannot enjoy. That is the point. I never ask what qualification I have. Krishna has given me so much. What qualification I have, I don't ask, but I always demand more. And finally propose to be simple and support the servant or subordinates. This is one of the management philosophy that always support your followers, support your team, support your subordinates. That's one of the quality. Generally, he said that when somebody makes mistake, team member makes mistake, if you're leader, it's your responsibility to own the mistake. Because we can see in the example of Jaya Vijaya and 4 Kumaras. When the 4 Kumaras entered the 7th gate of Vaikuntha, Jaya Vijaya, the gatekeeper, they stopped. So Kumaras, even though they're young, they got angry. How could you stop? They started thinking that these people cannot be qualified to be here, because how can they, kind of not recognize a devotee? How can they do this kind of, wrong decisions, stopping Kumaras entering to the Krishna's Vaikuntha? So they cursed them to take birth in the material world in the demon family. So they had an option to take birth as the birth as a Devata, or 3 birth as a demon. So they preferred to be demon because they wanted to come back to Krishna so fast. That's why Prabhupada says, in that past time, what happens when the Kumara is cursed, Lord Vishnu personally comes there. Lord Vishnu comes and actually seeks forgiveness from the Kumaras, saying that it's mistake, it's my mistake, or my servant's mistake means my mistake. The gatekeepers or Jaya Vijaya are the servants of Krishna. So Lord Vishnu says, whatever the mistake they done, it's my mistake. I am seeking your forgiveness. So this is the quality of a leader. Leader accepts the mistakes. Leader takes responsibility and give credit to his subordinates. This is what Srila Prabhupada also did. We can see any of the places Srila Prabhupada never would have taken a credit for himself. He always said that it is because of mercy of blessings of my Gurudev and the support of my disciples. And he never said, I did this. So Srila Prabhupada always give credit to his guru and his disciples. And many places said that the American boys and girls, you people are sent by my Gurudev to help me. So he gave complete the credit to his disciples. So here Prabhupada talks about the Brahmanas, intelligent men, administrative class, Kshatriya men, and mercantile men, Vaishya, and finally the labor class. Each ashrama, each varna has given a certain way of living. For example, Brahmanas can earn money by asking charity only, nothing else. Brahmana cannot work. Of course, no other caste other than Shudra can work for salary. So those who work for salary are really Shudras. So Brahmanas depend on charity from other classes. Kshatriya depends on taxes. Kshatriya as a ruler can impose tax and collect the tax. With the tax, Kshatriya can survive. Vaishya can depend on the profit because his job is to make business, cow protection, agriculture. With that profit, he can survive. Whereas Shudra can depend only on salary. That's why in Kali Yuga, everybody is Shudra because everybody is working for somebody else and earning salary. If you are earning salary, we are Shudra. So that's why Prabhupada says one must approach a person who is sent person engaged in service. To those who want to come out of this cycle of Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam and go back to Krishna in this life itself, they would approach a person who was sent person engaged in service without evaluation of his moral values. So that's the mood Srila Prabhupada talks. Finally, Prabhupada says that the administration should never pretend to become non-violent and thereby go to hell. So Arjuna had a same view. Arjuna was thinking, no, I will not kill. Why should I kill? Because it's a violence. I'll be incurring sin. I should be compassion. This is the mood in which Arjuna was speaking to Krishna. Krishna actually chastised him. He said, you are talking like a Pandita, but you are full number one because you don't know the basics. Where to lament, you don't know. Where to not lament, you don't know. For which you should not lament. This body you are lamenting. Actually, you should lament for spirit soul. How do I attain Krishna's lotus feet? For that I should lament. But instead of that, he's lamenting for a body. Prabhupada says here, monarchy is better because monarchies, they had a full control over the kingdom, and so they had a full knowledge of the scriptures. Today's world, in the name of vote, democracy, people are getting selected demons. Prabhupada says this is demon crazy, not democracy. The selectors are also demon, the voters also demand blind is following the blind. That's what happens today. So that's why Prabhupada says that the democracy is not good unless people are properly educated, properly trained. Otherwise, democracy is not good. We see here in today in India how the people are has no qualification are getting elected. They become chief ministers. They become ministers. Education minister of a state could be, he has no basic educations, whereas defense minister doesn't go out of the office to the warfield. So how can be the minister? In olden days, the kings, they will be in the front, the fight. They will not hide behind the bars. That's how it is. Prabhupada says that the Vaishya's job is to cow protection and so agriculture and cow protection. So that the cow protection makes that increase the milk products, whereas curd, butter, etc., ghee. So with that, human can sustain nicely because sufficient food products are there in the form of milk, yogurt, ghee, etc. So Prabhupada says animals are never meant to be killed. Killing of animal is a symptom of a barbarian society. So today, all over India, all over world, the slaughterhouse is maintained just to kill animal. So that is a mood. That's why Prabhupada says that symptom of barbarian society. Today we see that our society is going that direction. So as a practicing devotees, it's our job is to bring them back and give them a basic knowledge of scriptures. Prabhupada finally has talked Shudra class. Shudra is less intelligent. That's why he has no independent. His job is to serve others. So what does it mean? Independent means that because of less intelligent, he has no independent of thinking himself. That's why Brahmanas, Kshatriyas give them a right protection. And Shudra should never bank money. Shudra never should have a bank balance. So that's what Prabhupada is saying here. So we can see today, majority people are Shudras because we are working for somebody, and we all the Shudras have big bank balances, which is not in favor of scriptures. Prabhupada says, material world is not actually the home of a living being. Illirudu summane, allirudu nammane, Dasar says that. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura writes here, he described the general dharma for human according to their nature. Purushaswadhava vihitan. These three verses are joined in one sentence. Yatha Varnam is an indeclinable meaning, being qualified by Varna. Yathashraman means being qualified by ashrama. The ashrama have qualities of renunciation and enjoyment. So Tyaga is must, especially for grihasthas, should practice. And finally, Prabhupada says that it is ruled that the ashrama, which such as a brahmachari, need not be undertaken one after the other by the brahmanas. If they have a constant remuneration, they become sannyasis, and they have a constant attachment. Sorry, they have a constant renunciation, they become sannyasis, and the constant attachment, they become grihasthas. So again, want to become grihastha or brahmachari or varnashrama, vanaprastha or sannyasa, our attachment to the Krishna and attachment to the material world is the more key point. With this, I'll stop here. Devotees can share their comments and thoughts. Hare Krishna. Who wants to share? Anyone? Please unmute yourself. Okay. Go ahead, Rajaratna Mataji, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Prabhu.
Those days, the Varnashrama Dharma was well maintained, actually. In this Kali Yuga, it is very difficult to follow because those days, like this, not modern industries or anything. Those days they were having only agriculture, cow maintenance, then this recitation of Vedas, then supporting this monarchs or kings for the. So at that time, even Gurukula education was very effective. Those who wanted to learn, because it's not that these people can learn, these people cannot learn like this. So there was a Gurukula education was that those who undergone these Veda registration, everything they learn, they become a Brahmanas, not because of their birth or anything, those days. So it was very strictly, it was followed those days. So at that time, even for example, if you take Aswatthama, he was not given a due respect. He was not given a due respect as a Brahmana. Even by Drona, he has not given his all this, since he was not having the qualities, he was not given training in all those things. Even for handling the Brahmastra, he was not given the full, as a son he is taught, but he was not given the training for retracting. Like that, they were also following all those things very strictly. So, with all those things in this Kali Yuga, it is this Varnashrama Dharma cannot be maintained. Then one more thing, in those days, even the Brahmacharya, Grahastha, whatever it is, they all, detached in certain stages, and they gone for Vanaprastha. Those days it was possible. But now it is in this Kali Yuga, it is very, very difficult to follow all these things. So that is what my understanding from this. Whatever Deva says, for this present condition, it is very, very, very difficult to follow all this.
There is a request from
only
Sridevi
the
Mataji. Oh, sorry,
bhakti.
go ahead. Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, that's
Go
not
ahead.
Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
So there's a request from Sridevi Mataji. So we are on Zoom, we are online, we don't know each other, we know the name only. So she's requesting if we can keep a camera on, at least we can make out who is this person. So she's just requested. So pause those who can. I don't know what situation you are in, because at home.
I used to switch it on normally.
Yes,
Hare
if possible. Yeah. Sridevi Mataji, you can
Hare
make
Krishna
note of
Prabhuji.
you can make note of people.
Asha Mataji. Hare
Yes.
Krishna Mataji. Varsha Mataji.
Yes.
Hare Krishna all. I am Varsha.
Next time she will decide what sloka to be given to whom.
Archana Mataji.
Yes.
Hare
Can we see
Krishna
yourself
Prabhu.
also,
I'm
Mataji?
Archana.
Sridevi Mataji, yourself also.
I'll, okay. Oh, sorry, Prabhuji. My video is.
Asking everybody else.
Hare Krishna Mataji. I'm allocating slokas, but I don't know who is Archana Mataji, Varsha Mataji.
Good, good. Good. Then we have a Google Pixel is Lakshmi Mataji. Lakshmi Mataji, is
Lakshmi
it okay?
Mataji, I have seen Mataji
Yes.
in our CC class.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Then
Okay, Mataji.
Uma
Thank
Shankar
you so much.
Okay, so others can go ahead. Who else? Yeah, maybe go in alphabetical order. Asha Mataji, want to go ahead.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Varnas and ashramas are not by birth, it is by activities and by nature. The purpose of this system is not to create any divisions or fights among people. Actually, it is the purpose of this system, according to the Supreme, is gradually progress and become Krishna conscious, and to terminate this human life in a good end. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Archana Mataji, anything?
Sorry, Prabhuji. No, Prabhuji. Thank you,
Okay.
Prabhuji.
Lakshmi Mataji.
Nothing, Prabhuji. Nothing.
Okay. Then, yeah, Mariyappan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Varna Ashrama classification is by guna and karma, not by birth. Purpose of Varna Ashrama is to attain spiritual awareness and progress towards spiritual attainment and go back to Godhead. And whereas modern society is completely spoiled by focusing in vote banking politics. Actually, Bhishma Deva has given a full, in-depth, thoughtful guidances for a very amicable society creation and a congenial living atmosphere, to ensure a congenial living atmosphere. But systematically they have spoiled our Gurukul education and all our culture. Everything is distracted, very sorrowful developments in the past, at least for the past 1,000 years, I feel. But this Krishna conscious is trying to recover back all our cultural treasures and trying to imbibe every soul into the right path. That is one thing. And Bhishma Deva's 9 qualifications are everyone must realize and follow in our life for a successful life. I feel self-realization in distinguished from the life of lower animals is the only way to achieve success of this goal in the life. And one must approach a person who is 100% engaged in a devotional service, and Srila Prabhupada has rightly described democracy as a democracy. Kings used to be in forefront in war field, but nowadays we know what is the political leaders and all our so-called modern society leaders are behaving. Sudra should be, and cows and animals must be protected. The Sudra should not be given independence because they are not self-controlled souls, to be solely protected and guided to achieve the ambit. That much I understood, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Ramesh Krishna Prabhu, anything?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Mariyappan Prabhuji has said so many points. In that 9 points, all of the points we cannot achieve that. Slowly by doing satsanga and seva to Krishna, we can eliminate so many bad qualities, and slowly we can improve our personality also. That is what I understood, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu. Sure. Yes, Sumit Prabhu.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. All the devotees have already given so many points. So, like in this verse, Prabhupada very nicely explained like how the 4 varnas are there and what is their responsibilities and duties which they should do. Like Brahmanas should not like their only way they can survive is by accepting charity, and on the Shudras they have to live on the salary, and others like Kshatriyas they live on the taxes, and Vaishyas by the profit which they make, and their dharma very nicely explained. So if all the 4 varnas are doing their dharma, then the society is in a good shape and they can progress towards the goal of life. But if they forget their dharma, then it is very difficult for the society to be progress in a right way. So Arjun also, like, he wanted to go away from the warfare and he wanted to become uh, like a sadhu and like lead his life by begging. But that is not his dharma. That Krishna tell him that your dharma is to fight. Similarly, we saw the example of King Ashoka as well. Like he wanted to like whatever killings he has done, he wanted to like do a paschatap for that. But he did by leaving his dharma, his Kshatriya dharma, and he became a bhikshu. Like he went to Buddhism and became a bhikshu, and because of that, the whole country has to suffer. So we each and every more person has to stick to his dharma, and that is better. What Krishna has also said, like one should perform his duty even if some faults are there, but he should perform his duty instead of performing others person duty perfectly. So that should be in our mind, that whatever varna we are in, we should try to follow that. Even if some mistake is happening, then we should not leave our varna and do something else. So yeah, Prabhu. And Bhishma Dev has 9 qualifications for all the human beings, like not to be angry, not to lie, to equally distribute wealth, to forgive, to beget children only by one's legitimate wife, to be pure in mind and hygiene in body, and not to be inimical towards anyone and too simple, and to support servants or subordinates. So in the modern era, it looks like nearly impossible to do all these things. Uh, but yeah, so that is the standard he has mentioned, and whatever we can do and try to follow as close as possible, and by practice we can perfect those things. Yeah, that's all, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Once, yeah, Sridevi Mataji, anything want to add?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Mataji.
Actually, all the points Prabhuji told, no? The same thing only. When Yudhishthira Maharaj inquired Bhishma Deva, he has replied the principles of religion, how the classification of caste and orders is done. The 4 classes are Brahmins, Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas, and Sudras. Brahmins are highly intelligent and they are very good at Vedas and Puranas. Kshatriyas are meant for fighting. Then Vaishyas, they should protect cows and agriculture. Then Shudras, they should do good service to the above 3 varnas. That's what they are meant. And when all these people are doing, when all these 4 castes are doing their duties and performing well, the society will be in a good shape. That is the reason Krishna has done the classification. So they'll be in a very good order, and the society will be in a very good shape. That's what.
Thank you,
And
Mataji.
like, yes, Hare Krishna.
Shruti Mataji, anything want to add?
I think Prabhu, everyone has had it. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Umar Shankar Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
This is the cow protection is mentioned. So actually, heard in that if the cow protection is there, there will be no war and no kind of scarcity, and everything will be in prosperity, Prabhuji. So, and we have also one thing apart from this cow protection, we have abundant of land so that it can feed all the whole world itself. So, but unfortunately, in this Kali Yuga, it has been misutilized. We had been exploiting all the natural resources and constructing lots of buildings. So, thereby, this kind of calamities are happening. So, our Krishna conscious movement is in specific that we should have a community kind of living so that everything can be regained. So, it is better that we can contribute something in this Krishna conscious devotional service.
Okay. Varsha Mataji, last but not the least.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, nothing much. Thank you for the class.
Thank you. Okay. So we'll end here now. So Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Paditana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Antakoti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai Grantaraj Bhagavatam Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So we'll see you on Monday, same time. 9 Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you very much.